Hey guys, today I want to record a different video and it's on the widescreen because I'm gonna post this one, as you can see, on my long form content. This is not gonna be a short. I'm gonna go over, there's a lot of people that ask, how is my streaming set up? What do I do? How does it look like when I'm not driving the simulator? How does my office looks like? So today I'm gonna show you behind the curtains, like literally. So to start, this is obviously what you guys are used to see, the car, the simulator, the Volvo S60R, my triple TV setup. So I have three 65-inch TVs. They're 4K, 120 hertz. They're from the TCL brand. You can kind of see down here if I can get the zoom right. And so the way I usually do my live streams is I have on the left TV here, I have the streaming PC. So this is a snapshot of the streaming PC right now. You can kind of see my hand there on the camera that's behind me. And I also can see some of the stats of what's going on YouTube, on Twitch, on TikTok, which is minimized in there, but the TikTok window stays usually right there. And that is an app called Caster Labs. So Caster Labs will combine all the chats from the sources that I'm live streaming. So usually Twitch, YouTube vertical, YouTube horizontal, and also TikTok. Then I have my Spotify. There, Spotify. You can see here that I use this microphone. The microphone I use is this Fifine, I don't know. It's a good microphone. Obviously, it's a cheap microphone, but it works. I mean, you guys be the judge. I'm not using it right now. I'm using another microphone, but you can clearly hear my audio in the live streams, and that's what matters. I also have a stream deck here, and this is how I control the cameras. So there's two cameras behind me. One is my OBSBot tail air. So this camera has a PTZ, it moves around, and the way I control it, I can just simply come here to the stream deck, change to the OBSBot camera, and when I'm using the OBSBot camera, now it's on the OBSBot camera on my streaming PC, then I can pretty much just go to this screen right here and I can move it around. So I can press quickly. So if I press number 3, it's gonna go off to the right TV there. So I'm gonna press here and you're gonna see that camera move. And now it's moved to the right. And I'm gonna press to move to the left and to the center again. And then also I can move manually. If I wanna show like, oh, I wanna show the top, the ceiling of my bedroom or my office here. There you go, I can move it up and then it'll go back down as soon as I click the button. The other camera that I use most often is the iPhone. So I have an iPhone 14, I think, which I call the main scene. And here on the main scene, this is what you guys see on the widescreen. This is what you guys see on the vertical. This is the Meld Studio. I'm gonna show on the computer back there in a second. So you can kind of see how my stream deck works here. I also have the starting live stream, be right back, ending, the pedal camera. So if I press there, it's going to change to the pedal camera right there. And I have the focus on gauge and focus on CarPlay. So when somebody asks me about the CarPlay, I can focus it. I can also mute the microphone here. I can raise the volume, lower the volume, the music, the game. I have the, as I showed, the OBSBot. Then I have the sounds. This is the fatality, wasted, you know, all the sounds that I play sometimes. I have the syncing sounds and whatnot. This is the Philips Hue. So on the top of my simulator right there, there are Philips Hue. Usually they're connected to the computer. And whatever is displayed here, so you see that's kind of a bluish hue there. I don't know if you can see with the lights, but it's because it's capturing this side. This one is a little whiter because it's capturing where the chat is. And that is a little yellow because of that yellow there. So I can also change. So I can press a button here. I program this button that looks like a light here to turn off the Philips Hue on a computer. So if I turn this, now it's off. As you can see, it went off. And then I can control manually from here. So I can go like, okay, I want different colors. I can go with different colors there. and I can change to blue. I know it doesn't look really blue, but trust me, it's blue. Now it's yellow, and now it's white. So if I need to record something, I need a whiter light here, I can just change that. I can also turn it off. So if I want to just set it off, it'll just turn off. If I want dark. And then if I want to go back to working as, reacting to the game, I can just come here and press this light again. And now it's back as it was before with the little different colors like that little purple hue, the yellow, and the white here. So yeah, here you guys know very well, this is the camera I use for the gauge cluster. So it's right here, it's just mounted on Velcro, and the wires go back there. I'm gonna explain the wires in just a second. Here's the steering wheel and everything as you guys always see. Turn signal, the high beams, the horn. A lot of people ask about the horn. There's no horn here. There's no airbag. There's no nothing. This is how it looks like behind, in case you guys are wondering. This is a Fanatec PCB. This is an ESP32 back there. And this is how it looks behind the scenes on this steering wheel. Then I have the buttons are also working, so you can see I'm going to press here. That's going to change, and that's changing because I'm pressing the cruise control. I don't use cruise control that much on a simulator. I use it only on Truck Simulator. So what I do in the Truck Simulator, I set this button to start the cruise control. More speed, less speed, but this one doesn't go back to the previous setting. In the real car, this goes back and this turns off. But here, I just prefer to use it for the Apple CarPlay. Next track and whatnot. Then you have, what else can I show you guys here? The screen. A lot of people are curious about the screen. So this is the original Volvo RTI screen, and I changed the LCD there for an LCD that can connect to HDMI. So this is connected to my computer through HDMI port, and I can also, if I want, I can come here and press this up and down button, and I can retract if it's bothering me or I don't want it showing. I can retract it up and down. In a real car, this happens when you press this button here behind the steering wheel. So we have this. So whenever you guys see me filling up the fuel in American Truck Simulator, Escape, and there's a directional D-pad here. Also, in case you guys are wondering, I manually changed the leather on this steering wheel. So that's why I have the blue stitching. But originally, Volvo had the blue stitching. You can kind of see it here. It's fainted, but the R steering wheel had the blue stitching, and the blue stitching right here as well. The other buttons, they all work, as you guys already know. You've seen the videos 1,000 times. The radio, I have videos on the radio. The climate control, the 6-speed transmission, the handbrake. A lot of people ask, and here's the answer. Do you have cup holders? Yes, I do. I just don't use them very often because Volvo didn't really excel on their design here. So say I'm driving manual cars, which most of the time I do. See my hand where it's on top of? So yeah, if I have anything bigger than a can, it's gonna bother me. So I don't use it that much. And also this works perfectly as a mouse pad. So I can use and move the mouse. Where's the mouse there? Right there on the screen. So I can move the mouse around. I also have a controller here for some games that, you want to have a camera movement or you don't use a steering wheel. This is how I charge it. So this port here is connected to 5 volt. Obviously, it's a USB, and the charger for the phone. Here, it also has the glove box compartment with the car's manual. All the remote controls for the TVs, although I don't need all of them. I only need one, that's right there. That remote does everything that I need. And so what else? So you have the passenger seat right here. If you've ever been in a Volvo S60 from this era, you know how comfortable this seat is. The keyboard stays here with me. It's not a problem. Doesn't bother me that it's there. The footwell here has that Florida tag that a lot of people ask about. So it's just a custom, not a real Florida tag. It does have the my old year registration there, but it's expired, as you can see. And here is the computer. Let me show the PC that I use to game. So here is my computer, the streaming PC. I'm sorry, the gaming PC. So I do have a 9950X3D there. That's the CPU that I'm using right now. And I have 64 gigs of memory RAM in 2 sticks, 3232. I do have a 4090 down here. This is the 4090 that I use. And the motherboard is a Tough Gaming. I forgot the number. It's the X670, 870 plus Wi-Fi. And this is a Be Quiet case. The 500X, I'm probably lying here, but I don't want to lie. So I put that Volvo and obviously Flybrick S60R down there. This is the stand that I use for the TV. Another look behind the scene. This is the next level gaming stand. It works. It's just hard to get it aligned, and I think it's a little bit of my fault because as you can see back here, the back of the TV here is not standing on the legs of the stand. So here I have a desk, kind of a desk. It's just a piece of wood that's connecting there. And yeah, you can kind of see it's as organized as it can be. One day I'm going to go behind the scenes there. Not today. We're not going to touch that. And then now you can see how I avoid the reflex, all the highlights that would be showing. So I have the curtain. This is just a black curtain staying here just for, you know, so avoid every little detail. You can actually see some of the reflexes there. It's kind of annoying, but it is what it is. This is a TV. TVs usually are reflective. They have this kind of, you know, reflective coating. I know there's some stuff you can put it on to make it like matte, but it's so expensive. I found some. If you know some, just let me know in the comments below. Here's the camera point of view. I have the iPhone. So this is the iPhone. It's connected to the computer through the lightning cable. This is the iPhone 14 Pro. I have the OBSBot tail air connected through HDMI. So there's an HDMI going down here. This is the charging cable. And I have 2 tripods. And then I close the little alligator clips here when I want to close it, because otherwise you get that nice shine reflecting there on the dark. Let me give you guys a closer look of everything else. Now you can see here I have a bunch of 3D printers. This is not a 3D printer anymore. I turn into a UV chamber for the resin printer. So I have 2 resin printers. I have this Sonic Mini 8K, and I do have this huge PO Poly Phenom that I use to 3D print stuff. So there's the resin, and then I can put it here. Kind of storage right now, but this is when I turn the lights on, it becomes a UV curing chamber, and it just cures. This was my first 3D printing. I bought it in 2015, and I don't use it obviously. Some of the stuff that I printed this Wally here. It has a Raspberry Pi in it. It works around. I need to finish it. Eventually I will. You see I weathered all the top, but I didn't weather here yet, so it looks brand new. Shouldn't look like that. And I have other printers. I have the plastic printers. This one is out of service because I melted. The one day I didn't pay attention, started globbing here, and the thermistor just kind of gave up on me. I have this Cameo cutter here for cutting like the stickers, like the sticker you see on the computer right there, that Volvo and Flybrick. I did use the vinyl cutter here with the vinyl cutter. I do have other 2 3D printers right here. This one has the MMU2 from Prusa, so it prints in colors, and that one is just a regular Mark III Prusa. And I have a bunch of filaments down here. And they're all controlled by a Raspberry Pi. So that's one Raspberry Pi over there. There's another Raspberry Pi right here. And I have another one right there. Here is a little bit of my chaos of parts and for tutorials. I do have another climate control here. This is the one I'm gonna use for the tutorial for the car in the garage. I have a bunch of gauge clusters. These are all Volvo gauge clusters from different models. There's I think there's two 2004 here. I still want to get the code working for 2004 for folks that don't have the newer one. I have a bunch of parts here that are just piling up, but they're gonna go all into the car in the garage, and I usually keep a lot of parts down here. Like if I need spare, if I need spare parts for climate controls, here's a bunch of spare parts. And this is like old projects. So this is one of my first PCBs that I was trying to make it work for the climate control. Some that I tried just to remove everything and use it. You can kind of see the mess. Also, cigarette lighters, you know, back cases, front cases. You never have enough. The little button windows for the climate control. The little nice 12 volt here for, yeah, it's a mess, I know, but it's a sort of an organized mess, I'd say, kind of. Use my both hands here. Sorry about the camera shake. So I do have some more parts here. There is light switches. I have a Junkyard right here with me. I have the side airbag notice, but this is because the one that I'm using there has the Stream Deck. This one is a clean one, so if I want to get a clear picture, I put this one. I have two other steering wheels right there. Those are our Volvo S60R steering wheels. I have a bunch of parts down here in the box. I have 1,000 of parts here. These are all climate control parts, you know, buttons and whatnot, so I can test and make them work. This is the older version of my climate control. This is one of the, I think this was the second one, the second iteration of it. And it's not functional, so I've had people like, so send it to me, give it to me. So it's just not functional anymore. And I have a Leonardo here, an Arduino Leonardo, and an Arduino Micro Pro right there. This is the way I used to do before. I had several Arduinos here, and now I found a new way to do this that's a lot easier, and it's a lot faster. Put this back, and this back as well. I also have the streaming PC now, so let me give you guys a closer look on the streaming PC. So this is the streaming PC. This is also my workstation. That's my work computer from my day job, my full-time job. That is the actual streaming PC. So that is a very, not simple, but it's good enough. So that one is a 550M Wi-Fi. It has the AMD 5600, this processor right here. And it has, I think I put 32 gigs of memory RAM. I put this 650 power supply. And I do have on that rig, let me see here, the 5060. So here are the boxes. So for the 5060 and the 4090, and this is for my Asus stuff. And so that is the streaming PC. And here I get to control everything. I get to see the, you know, meld with all the scenes, but be right back, horizontal, the OBSBot camera, the iPhone, and so on. Here's where it goes live on YouTube, on Twitch, on Kick. I also have the chat, as I showed you before. This is like a secondary chat for me because sometimes the Caster Lab stops working and I need a secondary. And another cool feature here on my desk is some people ask, can you play, I don't know, Roblox? Yeah, I can, from the main computer. So you see the wallpaper here? So that wallpaper extends on the fourth monitor. So if I press the button here down on this Samsung and I select HDMI, and now it's going to go to here, which is the that's the gaming PC. So here I can pull the mouse using the mouse, and it'll come here eventually. If I find the mouse. Or did I disconnect the mouse? No, I didn't disconnect the mouse. Oh yeah, no, I have to push. There's a button here. Sorry. because I have the streaming PC connected, so all I have to do is get this USB and connect to this one that goes to the streaming PC, the gaming PC right there. And now it goes, it's gonna come here. There we go, there's the mouse. And I can just, you know, use the computer here. I need to open up things and bring them here, but this is the gaming PC. What else? Oh, let me go back here. And it's just so I can show you guys. Let me drag the mouse over there and bring a Spotify window here. So it's gonna come all the way down here, that Spotify window that was on there. So if I want to play a game that requires a keyboard, all I have to do is bring it here, sit on my desk, and play here. That's easy. And then I can use my 4090, the 9950X3D, all the good stuff to play. This is 2K monitor. This is not 4K, and it works pretty well. I'm very happy with it. It supports up to 3 USBs. Video ports. So I have the HDMI, the display port, which is the streaming PC, and the USB-C, which goes to the work computer right here, the Mac. So it's connected through the USB-C there. Here I have the sound that comes from the gaming PC, and everything is connected through a bunch. There is a very thick net of cables right there. So there's HDMI, there's a bunch of USB, super fast USB cables that run all the way up here. Actually, down there. They run to that computer. And this computer also works as a workbench for me. So I have the not climate controls, the gauge clusters. So whenever I need to test, put a new function, do something, I connect this to this USB. This is connected to the workbench computer right there on the top. And I have the power supply also. This is the power, 12 volts, that turns on the clusters. So if I get this to connect with this, it will power, but I don't think it will power the way it should because the gauge cluster is not connected through the USB here. Let me see. All testing, and there, let's see. If it's gonna power up, yep, there you go. It powers up right away. With all the errors that BMWs usually have. So yeah, this is the Arduino Uno with the CAN bus shield on the top. And people ask me all the time, is it hard to wire? It's not. So there's just one harness here. I need only 4 wires. I need the 2 CAN wires, the yellow and the black one there, and then I need the power wires here to get 12 volts. And this is how you wire. Same thing for the Volvo. It just looks more complicated because I do have some stuff going on here. I have a no DB port, so I can read the signals while I'm sending. You don't need that to get the gauge cluster working. And then I have also a couple of relays, because one relay is working with the 12 volts for the parking brake light, and the other one just tells to safely shut down and on the Arduino, so it makes a very nice and clean startup process with the gauge cluster. Out of curiosity, these are some of the cars I've owned in the past. This was my first car ever, the Ford Escort. I've owned a Volvo S60, but it was black. I've owned a Chevrolet Omega. This is a Brazilian car. I've had an S90, I have had an S60, or I have 2 S60s still. I'm missing a few. I never owned a Batmobile and none of those. I've had an 850 like this, but not the wagon, just a regular one. And I've owned a Ford Fusion White, just like this one. One more thing, yes, here is where I organize my stuff for doing all my electronics endeavors. So let me show you guys. So I have a bunch of pieces and parts, and this is the new thing that I'm using now for extending controllers. This is pretty good, pretty cool. This is an old way that I could control buttons. This is called U-HID. It has a USB connection, and this one is a Bluetooth connector. So for steering wheels, for instance, that you don't want to have a cable hanging around, This thing used to be good, but I think the ESP32 is better now for that purpose. Let me close this off. There is batteries, cables, stuff for testing. Sometimes you need batteries. What else do we have here? Have ribbon cables, touchscreen, buttons. So I try to keep it as organized as possible, and 3D printing certainly helps with that process. And I also have these little stickers that come from this printer. What else? This is the LCDs and the T300. I used to own a T300. That's when I started customizing stuff. I have a little cameras here that some of them work, some of them don't. Little screens. This is an LCD screen for the Wally right there. So this was the first one. I bought it wrong, and I have a spare now. And there is, what else? Oh, this is a bunch of cool stuff. So a lot of people ask me, what are you using to control your buttons? So here it is, an ESP32. This is very cool because it can connect through Wi-Fi and it can connect through Bluetooth. So this is a USB-C. I hope it focused. There you go. USB-C one, so it's pretty good. It just needs the USB-C for power, or you can connect it to the computer, but I rather use these for when I want something through Bluetooth. This is the Arduino Micro Pro. This is the famous one. A lot of people ask, how do you get the buttons to work? It's a bunch of these connected. Every little connector here, if you put 2 wires, you get a button. Do I have a button here? I do have a button somewhere. Relays, RTI screen, and I know I have buttons here somewhere. There you go, miscellaneous buttons. So the gist of it is, you get a button. Let's get this big button here. It's easy to look at. So this button here has 2 wires. Well, this one is missing, but it usually has 2 wires. When you press the button, it will create a short. So when this short is detected by the Arduino, so oops, something shorted, it tells the computer a button has been pressed. And that's as simple as it gets. So I have a bunch of them here. They're all working. They're super cheap. You buy off of AliExpress. If you buy in quantity, they're going to come cheaper. These are my testing ones, for instance. They come with these little, I soldered these little things here so you can get a quick DuPont connector there. And it makes it easier. And then when I'm going to the final project, I solder so it doesn't come off. It's just easier. A bunch of little components that ChatGPT told me to buy, and I put there. So a bunch of buttons here. The first versions of my climate controls were just adding buttons. So I used to put these on the board and then just solder it and make it work. So yeah. One last thing that I want to show you guys is the screen, because some people ask me about the screen on my navigation, the Apple CarPlay, and here it is. I have spares. Obviously I do. So this is the board that connects through HDMI. You can kind of see the HDMI port right there. So this is HDMI. This connects to LCD screens, and this is one. This is the buttons for the LCD, and here we have the LCD screen. I have 2 of them. So this is the little screen. It's hard with one hand, so excuse me for a second as I move it around. Here it is, a brand new screen. So you connect this part here, there, and then you put that into an HDMI and it becomes a screen, just like that. So this is 800 by 480. Not the highest resolution, but it works pretty well. And in case you guys are wondering, this is the model. If it focus, I don't know if it focused. There you go, kind of focused. Well, this is the model. Yeah, so that is a kind of quick, almost half an hour long video on how does my simulator room looks like. Have any questions, just let me know. I'm going to post this video raw as it is. I'm not going to even edit it or do anything. It's just I wanted to give you guys a behind the scene look on how it looks and how it works And yeah, if you have any questions, just drop in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe. That helps a lot the channel. While I'm live streaming, sometimes I get notifications that I'm doing dangerous activities. I promise I'm not. Oh, I need to show you one more thing. Just one more thing before you go, because I forgot. And this is something a lot of people ask. Do you have a digital, I'm going down here. Do you have a digital cluster? Yes, I do. And let me show you. It's hard to get off here. But here it is. So this is super cool. I'm very proud of this. I should use more. This is another board, just like that board for the LCD that I just showed. This is also HDMI. This is mini HDMI right there. You can kind of see it. And the power comes from USB. So what this does, I 3D printed this bezel here. And it's a 4K screen that works in the computer. So this connects to the computer and I can replicate any other digital display that I want. So if I don't want to use this, if I want to have more information, if I want to have a map, whatever, I can use this. I'll probably go live one day with this one so people can see. The only problem I have is a limitation on the ports. As those of you are with keen eyes have noticed, I have 3 TVs. They're connected to the 4090. That the monitor right there is also connected to the 4090. Then I have the LCD connected to a special like external graphics card. So this is like a graphics card for it's called startech.com. No, I don't know if that's the name, but that's the HDMI connected to the monitor. So I need to get another one of these so I can put on a USB and connect the display, because I don't have a spare HDMI port to connect the gauge cluster right now. So I need to get one of those. Yeah, well, I kind of extended myself a little longer. So don't forget to like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. If you have questions, just let me know. Also, join my Discord. Link is down in the description. If you're building a simulator, go check my tutorial. If you are thinking about building one or you're just curious, also join the Discord. We have a lot of people talking there. There's a lot of smarter people than me there helping out people. So yeah, stay safe, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.